Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. It's been a bit of a break here, but me and Don are back and we are getting you the latest from the Asia Cup just 2 days away. The biggest teams in Asia will be locking heads and facing each other in Dubai, in the heat of Dubai. We have India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Hong Kong, who qualified yesterday as well. It's exactly the repeat of 2018. The teams are here, everybody's in Dubai. The practice sessions have started. We saw some nice videos with Babar Azam, Virat Kohli, Shaheen Afridi as well. They're meeting the Indian players. Some good videos. Virat Kohli and Rashid Khan. They're practicing hard. Both teams, all six teams. Sorry, everyone's practicing hard. And we will have the first game on Saturday, which is between Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, and then the big one Sunday, India Pakistan. In today's show, me and Don will be dissecting the tournament, previewing the tournament, looking at the team's strengths and weaknesses, who the favorites are, who the underdogs are, and how we think the tournament will go in Dubai. Don, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, the excitement of an India-Pakistan is always uh, quite high. So, just to give you context, because there was supposed to be a party planned on Sunday, and I switched the whole thing for Saturday so I could
Wow.
watch the game on Sunday. So that's kind of the excitement level. And yeah, man, I think for me, it's still at home on the TV, but you're going to be on ground zero, so that's going to be exciting. Some really, I mean, the atmosphere will be something that I mean, you have been to a India Pakistan game before, so you have seen that and you have lived it, but there's nothing bigger than an India Pakistan game in cricket, you know. So it's nice to see that the players are collaborating, and there's that level of respect for each other.
Yeah.
Even though Shaheen was injured, you know, we saw Chahal go and talk to him, we saw Virat go talk to him. So it's nice to see that, you know, there is that friendship going on between them as well, because you know it can get extremely toxic and difficult to manage, you know, on the field, and even the fans and things like that. But I think it's just it's just nice to see that the players are also somewhat relaxed going into this big game. But I think in terms of tournament, obviously that's going to be the game to watch out for. But you can never really knock out, like, you know, the likes of Sri Lanka, the likes of Afghanistan are always ready to pack a punch. You know, Bangladesh has been struggling, and Hong Kong, of course, is kind of just making up the numbers, to be fair to them. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. But I think. Uh, Pretty sure India goes into this as heavy favorites, and anyone else apart from India, that if they end up winning the Asia Cup, that's a big deal for them.
Yeah, I'm liking Afghanistan and Sri Lanka's chances also because not only are the upcoming teams, and now they're, these set of players have experience and they've done well as a unit recently. Even in the World Cup, they did decently well. And I think playing these other teams, they've grown and they've improved. Sri Lanka, of course, they went through that recycling period after Sangakkara and Jarudere, and they're much more settled now. Of course, a big loss is Chamira. He's not going to be playing this tournament. Shaheen Shah not playing for Pakistan. Bumrah not playing for India. So some big losses, but I think the likes of Sri Lanka and Afghanistan have improved to an extent that they can upset India and Pakistan. That's what I feel. Of course, everyone wants to see India Pakistan final, but I always say this, but I just feel that Afghanistan and Sri Lanka both have a very good chance in this tournament. And one thing is, if you look at one thing in common in this tournament, we're going to see high quality spin bowling, depending on how the pitches behave, but high quality spinners. You have Hasaranga, you have Yuzi Chahal, you have Rashid Khan, you have Shadab Khan, you have Saqib and Mehdi Hassan as well. So some high quality spin bowling. Of course, let's see how the pitches will behave. I initially think that they're going to put some grass on the pitch. It'll assist some fast bowling. I think Shaheen would have been deadly on these pitches initially, because if you're going to keep it a rank turner, if it's going to be a dry pitch from before, then the final will be almost unplayable. And Dew also, right now, one thing I can tell you is Dubai is hot. It's
Yeah,
really hot, and it's like that microwave. It's like that, hot wind blowing in your face. You can feel it, like,
yeah.
and it's in the night also. Like 7 o'clock, I stepped outside today in the evening. 7, 8 o'clock, it was after sunset, and I could feel it in my face. So they're gonna start at 6 o'clock. You're going to feel the heat, and that's gonna play a part for the pitches and for the players as well.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the most important criteria, you know, like, you know, the heat, and obviously, I mean, these teams are used to these kind of conditions, but at the same time, it's going to be like, you know, Dubai's heat is not easy to manage, and the dew obviously will come into factor into factor, and I think that's going to be a huge consideration. And you know, we have in the past seen that games have been heavily influenced by the toss. and it could be more of the same, here. So I think teams will want to chase and restrict the first the team batting first to a lower score, and then knock it up really quickly, and that's precisely what teams are going to look for. How they're going to manage to minimize that factor will be critical, but there is going to be a little bit, and I think teams batting second will have that advantage going into the game, about 60-40 at least at the minimum.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
don't think it's.
definitely.
Yeah, I hope, and I also don't think it's going to be as much as the World Cup, which is because it was in cooler conditions. But still, we don't know, right? Like you said, and anything can happen over here. But the one good thing is that the pitches will be fresh now. It won't be like last time where you had a half a IPL season and then you went into the World Cup. Here, you'll have fresh pitches, so hopefully, we get to see some good cricket. I'll just walk you through the teams. Let me know what you think, if you agree with me or not. We'll dissect them quickly. If you look at Afghanistan, for me again, bowling is their strength. But for me, the key player, I'm going a bit different. I'm going Hazratullah Zaizai, because I think if he can give you 50 of 30 balls, 50 of 20 balls, your bowlers samal lenge, like they can defend the score, or like they will do the job, because you have a good bowling attack, an excellent attack in these conditions. You have Mujib there, Rashid Khan, of course, even your boy Fazal Haq Faruqi. He's a good pace bowler who plays for the Sunrisers, left
And
arm.
Nabi
So,
as well. Yeah.
and then you have Nabi who can bat and bowl, but a lot will rely on their batting. So Najibullah, even what's his name, Kareem Jannat, Mohammad Nabi, all these guys will need to chip in with the bat as well. And Najibullah Zardan, he's a really good batsman as well. I think he comes number two down, I think. But yeah, he's a very good batsman as well. So I think they'll need their batsmen to contribute, but they do have the bowling.
Absolutely. I think the bowling has never been a problem. They've always been a very kind of heavy, strong bowling unit with the likes of Rashid, Mujib, Nabi. We already mentioned these names. So they're already something that they have to just focus on is a little bit of consistency. I think they get a little carried away sometimes, and they don't read the situation of the game sometimes as well as they should probably do it. But I think they are now a lot more experienced. Even after the last year's World Cup, they've played a bunch of cricket together, and there are issues within the Afghanistan board and setup and things like that. But at the same time, these are similar players. A majority of them have played now for a few years. So there's no excuse of not being consistent. I think they have to really challenge themselves and go out there and make that finals. I think they are a very, very strong side and have the capability to do that, and on their day they can beat any side. But I think the consistency is going to be critical for Afghanistan.
Yeah, and I think they will be the team that will benefit the most of Bumrah, Shaheen, and Shamira not playing. I think
Yeah.
they can handle spinners. They have Rashid Mujib in the ranks. They probably play them in the nets all day. So I think they can handle the spin bowling, and they will benefit the fast bowlers not there. And if they take advantage of that, I think Afghanistan have a good chance in this tournament. Where are you seeing them? Which ranking are you going to give them? Where will
I
they
think
finish?
they'll miss out on the top two. I think they'll finish up in the semifinals and lose over there.
Okay. No, I'm gonna
Super
go.
Four. I think they're calling it the Super Four this time, right? So
You go, yeah, super four. So you were saying, yeah, even I think they'll go top four. I have a sneaky feeling they can win the tournament, but only time will tell. The prediction that I was going to make is the Sri Lanka Afghanistan final, but it's difficult to beat India as because the thing is, India is playing high risk cricket, so I wouldn't say it's not impossible to beat India. You can beat them, but if India on their day will be dangerous. But that's what I'm saying. Without Bumrah there, even Pakistan without the strike bowler, these teams can exploit that. So that's why I'm giving the chance going into the finals. But yeah, top four for me as well, Afghanistan. But they're going to be in a tougher group. They're going to have Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. The Bangladesh's team, Saqib Ul Hasan back at the wheel after all the tantrums that he's thrown, being banned for this, for that, kicking the stumps. He's captain now. I don't know how Bangladesh cricket is working. But yeah, not the same Bangladesh team. They have, of course, a very good, excellent spinner, Mehdi Hassan. They have Mahmudullah experience, Mushfiqur experience. He's back in the side as well. And this is the first time Mushfiqur and Hardik will probably face each other since that 2016 World Cup match where there was some early celebration. So yeah, how do you look at this Bangladesh side? They have Taskin Ahmed as well. But overall, it's a mix of experience and youth. But there are a lot of politics going on in Bangladesh cricket.
yeah, I think it's very unfortunate. Every time Bangladesh cricket really tries to come up and be a force to reckon with, I think there's a lot of internal problems that happen, and then they push them back a few years. And I think that this is a clear case of like we said, Shakib, after all those tantrums, throwing to captain him. I don't know. I mean, you can have him in the team. Sometimes players are good enough to be in the team even after they throw certain kind of tantrums. Have him a captain of your side. Your what kind of an example are you really setting? Like as a Bangladesh captain. So this is a shocking one for me to have him as a captain, and I think that that's going to really affect the morale of the team. And I really think that Bangladesh is going to struggle, even though they have a fair amount of like experience over there. I still think that Bangladesh is going to struggle because they are also in a tougher group. I think Afghanistan and Sri Lanka are in a better position than they are, and they have, I guess, a better team overall in terms of even their bowling department, spin department, everything like that. So I think Bangladesh will struggle, and I think they will lose both their games and end up outside of the top four. I think, honestly.
Fizz is also there, right? I forgot to mention him. So they do have some experience in the bowling with Fizz and
Yeah,
Taskin.
yeah.
Mehdi Hassan and Saqib will also bowl. So they have a good team. They have an experienced team. But again, it's they've not been informed. They haven't been playing the greatest of cricket. Zimbabwe were
They've
smashing
been
them as well.
losing, yeah, exactly, losing to
So
Zimbabwe.
yeah, I think it's more of confidence with Bangladesh. They have a team on paper, but confidence. It looks like they're not going to be as successful in this tournament. Where are you putting them?
Outside the top four, I think they'll be the team that will lose amongst Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Afghanistan team.
Yep.
They'll go out.
Yep, I agree with that. And then you have Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka. You can tell Sri Lankan cricket is on the rise because you have now a lot of them playing in IPL starting 11s. You have Rajapaksa. I was looking for his name in this squad. Finally, he's there. He's been in and out of the Sri Lankan team, but he's outstanding. All guns blazing batsman. I think he's one of the batsmen to watch in this tournament. Really good to watch, along with Sri Lanka. I think he's an outstanding batsman as well. He played really well in Dubai against Australia. I remember last in the World Cup. So some exciting talent from Sri Lanka. The captain Dasun Shanaka, a very effective all-rounder, and he's done a good job as captain in the T20 format. Of course, Chamira is going to be a big miss, but then you have spinners in Theekshana and Hasaranga, which are deadly spinners. So you add Chamira to this, they're very deadly, but still a very, very good side and exciting side, and they have bases covered. They have all-rounders, they have batsmen, they have bowlers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a solid side. Every time I think the Sri Lankan cricket is going through some kind of a turmoil, and they have, to be fair to them, I think they have had their struggles in the past year. But I think even in the last World Cup, we saw glimpses of decent cricket played by them, and they've now worked and improved on that. Like you said, Hasaranga, Theekshana, these guys are spinners. They have even like the Prabhat Jayasuriya in the ranks. I mean, obviously he's not in this squad, but he's a good spinner that we are trying to see, and there are a lot of players
He's
that
like
are.
their fourth, fifth backups, like for in line.
Exactly. Yeah. And he could make this kind of squad, but he also he had a fantastic test series, but he couldn't make the squad. So there are these options available to them, and in Dubai conditions, I think that even though the pitches are fresh and everything, there will always be some purchase for spin, and that's why I think Sri Lanka is going to be the team to beat in this side. I think right after India, I think I consider them the close second favorites.
It'll be great to see if Sri Lanka, do reach the finals and even win it. It's been a while. I think last time they won a tournament was 2014, and it's good to see these youngsters coming in and actually taking center stage and performing against big teams. So hopefully they do well. And like you said, I think they have all bases covered. Of course, Chamira will be a big miss, but I think they can manage without him. Where do you see Sri Lanka finishing?
I think they'll top their group, play Pakistan, beat Pakistan, and meet India in the finals.
Oh, big call, big call. So you're putting Sri Lanka first or second? Let's say first.
They'll top their group. Their group. I think it's a little hard to say first or second, right? Because I think I'm sorry. So for me, in that group, it's going to be Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh in that order.
But then after that, they all play each other once, right?
So in the Super Four, right? So
yeah. And do the points carry over? That's my question.
I don't think they do. I think they reset. Yeah. So it doesn't matter, honestly. Yeah.
Then it becomes you play each other once, and then the top two go from there. So it's like a semi-final, but you play each other once.
Yeah. So they're calling it the Super Four, right? So that's it's kind of like a Super Six. So
they could have just done Super Six, but they did that because India, Pakistan, baby. They want
to make most of it. Yeah. And there's a good possibility there might be 3.
Yeah, but whenever this happens, that third game doesn't come. Even last time I was hoping for India, Pakistan, Bangladesh knocked them out in Abu Dhabi. I was there at that game, I remember, and it didn't happen. So hopefully, and last time, we didn't see India, Pakistan semi-final or final. India got knocked out early. So
And I honestly don't think Pakistan might make that finals. To be like that, the big call on down the track right now is Pakistan will not make that finals.
That's a very, very big call. You're taking the Shaheen Afridi injury very, very seriously, and you're amplifying it right now.
I think let's say I guess we can just talk about Pakistan since we've gone that side. But I think
we have to talk about another team, man.
Yeah, we will. I think we will talk. No, let's talk about India last. No, let's talk about Hong Kong last.
But Hong Kong, I don't honestly. We have to do more research. I don't know much about them. I'll just say very quickly: Hong Kong was the team in 2018 who were 170 for zero when they're chasing India's 280 score, and then they collapsed. So there was a moment
Yes.
there. I was in the stadium, stunned silence, and it was Nisakat Khan, their captain, and Babar Hayat. They were smashing. I remember. So those are the two players. I don't know many of the other players. It's a mix of Indian Pakistanis from what I can see. So we'll do some more research on that. Now let's go on to Pakistan. Don.
Yeah, I think Pakistan, I think honestly, Shaheen Afridi, I think that, the moral of that team, I feel like will take a big beating. There's already few things that are not working, like the likes of Imad Wasim's not on the side, which is, I think, a big call because he's a good all-round option. He gives you a couple overs in the spin and he's a handy batsman. So there are some issues in that side. Pakistan cricket, I think, for more than the talent that they have on the field, I think the issues that they have off it is the biggest problem. And I think we've been talking about this from the time I remember watching cricket. This has been the problem with Pakistan cricket, and unfortunately, uh, it remains. And on their day, like Afghanistan, they can beat anyone, but they cannot be compared to Afghanistan. They have to be compared to an India because of the experience and because of the time that they played cricket. Right? Afghanistan can get away with being inconsistent, but Pakistan cannot at this point in time. They are a top side. They have insane amount of talent coming through, but and the same story every time for them. I don't think one injury should be a problem, but that one injury is a big injury for them. Um, I know even India is going out without Bumrah, but India has capable backups. I think Bhuvi has been phenomenal over the past few months, and he's going to be raring to go as the main spearhead. They have good players coming in to replace, the options that they have available.
But that does leave
Someone
a hole. That does leave a hole as well for India.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But still, I think that like someone like a Bhuvi coming in with an Arshdeep, these are able
Whereas
backups
you're saying
for.
Haris Rauf he's played 30 games, whereas Bhuvi's playing 70 plus. You're saying that's the difference.
Exactly. Like that almost 100 games of Bhuvi. Bhuvi is a talisman in himself. He has led the Sunrisers and to a championship. He's led them to several finals and semifinals. So he has that experience. He has that pressure managing kind of capabilities and things like that. So that will be something that Pakistan will struggle. Uh, Pakistan is a solid side. Even in last, they made the semifinals. They were the team to beat. But I think that that was the best opportunity to make it. And unfortunately, because they didn't win then, I think that they've since then I think they've lost a bit of that that magnificent touch that they had last season. And I think that's what they struggle with.
The thing is also like Shaheen Afridi for me that India game was outstanding, but after that every tournament, every match, the new ball he was lethal, but he was only picking up one wicket. I think overall the way they bowled as a team, that was impressive. Like you said, Wasim in the power play was outstanding. Then you had Haris Rauf backing up. Hassan Ali also did a good job as well. So they had the backup. The Shada was outstanding in that World Cup.
They
So
don't
I
have
think
Hassan Ali also this season. Like I'm just saying, I'm not
I
saying I
think
don't
that's
think
more
I
of a
think that.
blessing in disguise. He's
Exactly,
really
I agree, but I think the experience of Hassan Ali just playing recently in the World Cup to not being there and now completely going with a new look kind of Pakistani bowling side, because we spoke about three bowlers missing Shaheen, missing Imad, missing Hassan Ali. So you are looking at a new look Pakistan bowling. I still think that someone like a Haris Rauf is still a pretty. He's the only kind of player who's staying who from that bowling unit is continuing to be there, but he will have newer. Counterparts. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. How Pakistan can come out of that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, and also I think I'm very excited to see Naseem Shah, man. He has a bullet arm, extremely
Yeah.
fast. It can go either way for him. He can get smashed or he can rip through the order. It depends on how he bowls. The thing is, he hasn't debuted in T20, so I think that's going to be a factor. And we've seen with the likes of Umran Malik as well, it takes time for faster bowlers to adapt to the T20.
Yeah.
They're not as effective, and it also depends on how much grass is on that Dubai pitch and how the pitch behaves. Will it be conducive to the new ball? If it moves around a bit, he's going to be a handful. But then they have the likes of Hasnain they brought in. I don't know if he's going to start. They have Mohammad Wasim Jr. I think he's bowled well recently, and what's his name, Dhani. Dhani. He's also there. He's had a good PSL, but again, he's not been consistent for Pakistan on that level. Exciting players there, but for me, where they lack a bit is the spinning department. I'm not saying Shadab. I think he's a very good spinner, but if you compare it to Hasaranga, Rashid Khan, Chahal, and then you compare Nawaz, also that second spinner, kind of struggling over there. Also in India, depends. Like Jadeja has not been in the greatest of bowling form, but if you have Chahal, Bishnoy, and Jadeja, then India become more effective. So depending
Bro,
on
Ash.
yeah, like for you, Ashwin, I'd play Bishnu over Ashwin any day. Like, I think I would have liked to seen Kuldeep in the squad, but yeah, Ashwin. Honestly, Ashwin is there. He has the experience and everything. He has the guile, but again, off spinners sometimes can get smashed, right? Especially if there's no assistance. He'll need assistance. If it's how the World Cup pitches were, and India were bowling first in that World Cup, Ashwin would have been very effective, and he was, I think, in a couple of games, but that was too late. Yeah, I think that wraps up Pakistan. Where are they finishing for you?
I think they'll just about finish third.
They finished third. I'm going. Oh, that's a tough, big call. You don't think they're going to reach the final? You're forgetting
No,
that they
no,
have the
I
one.
think they'll win. They'll reach. They won't reach the finals. Yes, I think
Wow.
India Sri Lanka will play the finals. Yeah.
And they have two of the top scorers of the T20 World Cup. They have the guy who's one of the best of all format batsmen right now going around. They have Fakhar Zaman, who has a very popular name as well, and like it's pronounced in different ways. And they have, I think the thing is again middle order, right? You always say you don't have the experience of Hafiz and Malik, but when Hafiz and Malik play, you say that they're too
They're
old.
too
So
slow. Yeah.
you got to go somewhere. But let's see how Khushdil bats. Let's see how the mid order does. I think Shadab can play as a floater as well. Asif Ali, if he can have a good tournament. But I think that's where the problem is going to be. If the top order fires, Pakistan are in good contention. If they don't fire, then they will have an issue in that middle order. I think that's their weakness.
I agree
And
100%.
Don, moving on to India. The Indian team right now, they're playing a different brand of cricket, high risk. They're playing aggressive cricket, which can be very effective on the day. But there will be chances for teams to try to bundle India out and catch them off guard. But Rohit Sharma has captained the side well so far, and they're playing a different type of cricket. So how do you look at India going into this tournament?
Yeah, I think from 1 year back when they were struggling to proper 11 to now having 13, 14 players fighting for the 11 slot is pretty solid improvement, I think, for India. So I think they're looking good on that front. They have the option. They've tried punt at opening. They know KL's coming back. There's a pretty decent setup ready now for India. But with India, the expectations are at the minimum. You need to win the World Cup. You need to win the Asia Cup. Like that's the minimum expectation. Like anything below that is a failure for India. So that's the pressure that they go in with. With that being said, I think they're a solid side. I think they've gone in and picked up a side that will be good for the Asia Cup with the conditions in mind. They have a team that's in good form. They've been winning consistently over the past year. They have all their big players back in. They are backing their big players. They have the consistency. They have like someone like a Surya Kumar who's in prime form. They have good bowling in Bhuvi, in Chahal who's coming back in good form. Rohit himself is good. Virat is obviously going to be a force to reckon with, irrespective of whatever anyone else says. I think like I said, I give him the rope till the World Cup. So I think Virat will be an important factor. So it's and middle order, Hardik and Dinesh Karthik have done fantastically well. Rishabh Pant is in good form. Uh, Jadu's been good. Ashwin's been good. Almost everyone. Like you talk about the whole 11, everyone's been pretty good in pretty good form. So I think this is going to be their best chance to win this Asia Cup for sure.
Yeah, and Aftab is in the house, Ashish is in the house as well. Good friends of ours. Aftab is asking a question which I think is the India's issue, the second and third bowler, but he put it in a different way. I'll ask you the question. He's saying go to bowlers for India, the death overs question mark. Bhuvi, a top talent with the new ball, but Bumrah, in my opinion, is better in the death.
Yeah, I think I agree 100%. I think Bumrah missing will be an important factor. There cannot be anything that takes it away from him. But I think, like I said, I spoke when we saw him a little bit before as well. I think Bhuvi is an able replacement, and I think Arshdeep is being quiet. No one's talking a lot about him. He's come into the scene very quietly, and he's been
Yeah,
fantastic
very
for
effective.
India. Yeah,
And
and
if there's any grip on those pitches, he'll exploit it in the death
And
overs as well.
he's been the kind of bowler that, when Harshal came into the scene, everyone was talking about Harshal. I think no one's really talking about him, but he's been doing it consistently for Punjab, and now I think for the Indian setup as well. I think he's quite a diamond kind of a find, you say, like, a needle in a haystack. I think he's that kind of a bowler. A lot of bowlers have come in, like, the likes of Avesh, the likes of Prasid, the likes of Umran. These guys have all come in, but they've not really been able to cement their position. Siraj for another one. But I think he's come in whenever he's given an opportunity. I think he's bowled well. He's picking up wickets regularly. He's being economical. He's not been getting hit for too many runs. So he's one to watch out for. I think he's my bowler of the tournament to watch out for.
Arshdeep, yeah. I think the one thing that I'm just a bit skeptical of is nerves, because he's playing on the big stage now. He's
Of
going to play
course.
Pakistan for the first time. Under pressure, for example, if they're defending 10 runs and he gets the ball, that's something that, it's going to be a big, big test for him. I think he can defend 10 runs, but against Pakistan in a packed crowd, everyone watching, it's a different kind of ball game. So that's one thing that he'll have to challenge. Apart from that, I think he's really proven me wrong. I thought, this guy should get hit for 5 sixes and over, when I first saw him. But he's bowled really well, the way he mixes up his pace, and he's done it in different conditions now. He's done it in West Indies also. I would have liked to see him play in England. I don't think we got to see that, but let's see. I think in Dubai, again, it depends on what type of pitches we get, but as they get slower, for sure, as the tournament progresses, Arshdeep will be a key bowler. I think from India also, I would say Hardik Pandya, his role with the ball will be crucial. I think you'll see him with the new ball as well, and you'll see him in the death, or maybe and then the middle overs will be the spinner. So Hardik Pandya will play that role, I think, because he's experienced now. You'll see him both the last over, second last over. I'm not going to be surprised if that's especially in the Asia Cup. In the World Cup, it's going to be Bumrah and Bhuvi probably bowling, but or if they go to a Shami, which I don't think they're going to, but in the Asia Cup, I think Hardik will be your go-to man at the death as well. They will give him the ball, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he easily brings in a couple of overs, and he's that player that brings in that stability in the side, in the top six to bat, and then you can go in with like someone like a Jaddu at 7, which is a pretty solid setup for them. So yeah, I think there's no points for guessing. I think Hardik is an important critical man. They've tried almost everyone else in that position. No one's really clicked as well as Hardik has. So you can't really deny. I think he's one of the best players there right now for India at least.
Do you rest him in the Hong Kong game, even though you can't take any team lightly?
Sure, sure. Because I think it's for him. I think his fitness becomes as important as someone like Rohit Sharma.
He's
So yeah,
he's that thing, that glue which holds together the whole
the whole team.
building,
Yeah, yeah.
the whole team. Like if he snaps, that's it. I think it's going to cause problems. Not only in the Asia Cup, in the World Cup as well. And he did pick up. I was there in the ground when he picked up that first major injury. It was against Pakistan in the Asia Cup in the 50 over,
Yeah,
and that's when
yeah.
Jadeja came in, and that's when Jadeja had this resurgence in the limited over squad. If you remember, he wasn't in 50 overs and T20 at that time. And but let's see how it goes. Now they're both playing together, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think, and that's why they've gone in with someone like an Ash over like an Akshar Patel or even like Kuldeep or Bishnu. I mean, Bishnu is still there, but Kuldeep is because Ash will give you just a little bit at number 7 or 8 if needed. If Hardik, snaps and if Hardik can't be fit, then you want to go with Jaddu at 6. Then you have to have
Also
another
variation,
likely.
right? Although Bishnoi, I count him as an off spinner, Ashwin gives you that ball turning away from the left-hander in the power play.
Exactly. And he gives you a little bit with the bat. If you bring him in at 7, he is something he's still a slightly able batsman, and nobody else in that bowling unit is as able as he is at number 7. So you need a
Yeah.
little bit of more variety over there.
Yeah, Ashish in the house saying Kohli is back. King plays on Sunday. Speaking of the King, let's go do some predictions. Actually, let's just talk about Virat Kohli. Give 30 seconds. Say whatever you want.
I mean, Virat Kohli doesn't need 30 seconds. He's absolutely the best. That's all I can say. He is going to light up this Asia Cup on fire, and I think he's going to start on Sunday.
Is he going to score 100 on Sunday?
Bro, I don't want him to score 100. I don't want that pressure like that. That worry about like if he scores 2 or 3 good 50s in the season, that's all that matters to me.
That's what all matters to you. Everyone wants Virat Kohli to shine. He's selling tickets. I've spoken to a lot of Pakistani fans as well. They've also said that they want to see Virat Kohli in action. And of course, there is banter and everything between the two sides, but you appreciate good cricket. Like we appreciate Babar Azam, they appreciate Virat Kohli. And when a big player has such a rough patch, there's a soft corner for that as well. Hopefully he does come back. He gave an interview on Star Sports. So if you haven't seen that, you can see that where he's talking about everything and the past few years as well. But yeah, done predictions. Who is your highest run scorer in the tournament?
Virat Kohli.
I'm going Surya Kumar. Who's the leading wicket taker?
Hasaranga.
Ooh, big call. You're going Hasaranga.
Because I think they'll come to the finals too, so that's why.
You're going Hasaranga. Yeah, that's a good shout. I'll go Chahal. But Yeah, I think that wraps up the individuals. And who's winning the tournament?
Yeah.
India is winning the tournament according to you. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Don, any last thoughts looking at the tournament? We have the first game on Saturday and then the big one on Sunday. Anything that you wanted to discuss apart from whatever we've said?
No, I think I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, like I said, India Pakistan is just the pinnacle of cricket for me. Grown up hoping for more of those games, and obviously, we unfortunately due to circumstances we don't get to see it as much as we would have liked. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to what's going to be an exciting tournament, I think.
You know, the interesting part is India Pakistan games over the recent, since that Asia Cup match when Afridi smashed Ashwin, that was the last thriller that I can remember
That's
between
true.
India Pakistan. After that, I think Pakistan Afghanistan rivalry and India Bangladesh rivalry, these have grown more in Asia, right? Interestingly.
True. True.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that Pakistan swiped the floor with India in the last World Cup. Before that, in the Asia Cup, India swiped the floor with Pakistan. So it's been one-sided games. Hopefully, we get to see a soap over or some between these two sides, whether it's in this round or the next round. But I just hope we don't see an upset from Hong Kong, because that's going to cause a lot of problems in either country who gets out. That's going to
Yeah.
cause
True.
chaos. But I'm happy for Hong Kong as well. You know, they get to rub shoulders with the best in Asia, and good luck to them as well. It's always good to play in a tournament like this, and if you can provide an upset, you'll be the story of the tournament. So, best of luck over there. And I think that pretty much wraps it up, Don.
Yeah.
I will catch you throughout the tournament. We'll be here. I'm in Dubai. You're in America, and despite the time difference, we will make it happen and get the latest for our audience. Hopefully.
As always, bro.
All right. Take care, man. Thank you.